This is an elimination MMA bout scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds for the vacant flyweight title. Out of the red corner, Quan Hall.
All right, fight fans, we're back, and you heard Stewie. This Elimination MMA main event is for our vacant flyweight title here at Sparta 97. Drew Dober by my side. I am J.R. Gordon for this, our main event. Coming to the cage, Mr. Quan Hall calls himself the Golden Child.
Training at a top-notch MMA, solid group of guys out of that gym, so definitely in for a treat.
Seen a couple of their fighters already this evening.
We had a long intermission in between, bouts, so we're curious on how the adrenaline is for these fighters.
Mr. Hall undefeated with a 4-0 record, so does not want his O to go. So speaking of that prolonged break that we had there, as a fighter, what does that do to you? Because I know that you try to time things in a specific way in the back with your warm-up and your mental preparation, etc. What does that do when all of a sudden there's 10 to 20 minute wrench thrown in the works, so to speak?
I mean, in my experience, it doesn't really change a whole much because once you do this walkout, it kind of builds the buzz, and then when you're in that the cage and another man's trying to punch you in the mouth, you wake up. So I hear a lot of complaints about like the adrenaline dropping and this and that, but truthfully, you just got to be ready to fight at any time.
Well, I overheard you talking earlier. I hope it's okay to share this. You were talking about your pre-fight feelings, warm-up, calmness, excitement, etc. One of the things you said was up to the point of getting your hands taped, you're almost falling asleep. And then as it gets closer and closer, you're a little more amped up. By the time it's walkout, then you're ready to go. Has it always been that way, or is that something that you've cultivated?
I mean, it eventually, like, the more times you get in there, it just feels like another experience. But my coach, Oscar Martinez, constantly reminds me of, it's not time yet. It's not time yet. Like, nice. You don't have to fight until you're in the cage.
I like that.
And so before you're stepping foot in the cage, just treat it like any other day.
I like that a lot.
But, it's definitely hard.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Keynan Davis.
Good bit of approval from the crowd for Mr. Keynan Davis, our other in this title fight.
Keynan, the future Davis, fighting out of Team Elevation, which is actually the team I train with.
Have you had a chance to see Mr. Davis in the training room?
I have. Being a 125-pound fighter, we haven't trained much together, but yeah, I definitely see his abilities, across the room.
Well, a good bit of experience there for Mr. Davis at 5-4. So his opponent with an undefeated record, but only not even quite half the number of fights that Mr. Davis brings into the cage this evening.
I mean, this kid's a solid boxer. I mean, his father being Vinny Lopez and training at, the Monsters at Elevation. His last fight, I mean, he's smooth on his feet, smooth with his boxing. But, I feel Hall's going to come in with a game plan for it.
Quan Hall's an exciting fighter. He comes to us 28 years old, shorter of the two at 5 feet 6 inches tall. We've talked about this being the vacant title at 125 pounds. Mr. Hall wants to stay undefeated at 4-0. SF is his style.
And we got Keynan Davis, 26 years old, standing 5'11" tall for 125 pounds, with a record of 5 wins, 4 losses, and he has a freestyle. Both fighters in the cage for this title fight.
Take it up to Stewie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event of the evening. This is Sparta! Fighting out of the King of Beers Budweiser red corner. He is a street fighter with a record of 4 wins and 0 losses. Standing 5'6" tall. He weighed in at 125.6 pounds. With top-notch MMA from Greeley, Colorado, Quan, the Golden Child! Israel Helico, blue corner. He's a freestyle fighter with a record of 5 wins and 4 losses. Standing 5 foot 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 126 pounds. With Elevation Fight Team from Denver, Colorado, Keynan, the Future David! Referee Oscar Martinez.
Gentlemen, you've had your final instructions. Let's fight like champions. Touch them up, back to your corners.
Here we go. Feel on paper, this is a striker versus wrestler matchup.
Quan Hall wearing the black, white, and red trunks, facing off against Keynan Davis wearing the black and orange trunks.
Fight!
It's Eat It On, punch it time.
Keynan already setting up a good footwork and a jab.
You talked about how smooth he is with his footwork. See if he's able to employ that throughout this fight.
Saw Hall warming up with little hand sprawls. I think his game plan is to take Keynan down. But he's got to get past that jab and the footwork.
And even for being the taller fighter, Mr. Davis, a little bit of a crouch in his stance, keeping himself low, like possibly he's ready for that shoot.
Which is perfect. I think taller fighters need to fight closer to eye level. You know, being in a more athletic stance instead of fighting so upright. And he's doing a good job of landing these knees and kicks to Hall.
And Hall acknowledges, gives a little nod of the head. Like, yeah, you got me with that.
I think Hall needs to do a better job of putting that pressure. Now, being the shorter fighter, you can't really fight at distance too well. You got to push that pressure and corral the cage. Both fighters switching their stances quite a bit. Davis doing a better job of keeping this long-range jab and leg kicks.
Yeah, has that height advantage, and he's employing it well so far, is Davis.
He's also doing a good job of controlling the lead hand of Hall's. And he's able to dictate kind of like how far away he is. And he can also dictate, you know, where his range is.
And also give himself a sense of what level is Hall going to be at. Is he going to start to drop down, try to drive forward for a takedown?
Exactly. I think Hall needs to commit on one of these shots and really close the distance. You need to touch the leg and come up to the upper body, or at least push Davis to the cage.
Yeah, Hall really hasn't been committed to bridging the gap so far. Needs to be inside.
There he goes.
There he
Gets to
goes.
a single
Now
leg.
he works his way in there.
Still not a complete takedown. Davis is doing a good job of staying on, you know, his knees.
Well, you'd have to imagine this is something that Davis worked a lot, was the takedown defense, getting ready for this title fight.
Hall finishes the takedown, takes the back, and then now controlling this arm, doing a wrist ride. And I think this is where Hall wants it right now. He's working this cradle, which you don't see much in MMA.
Nice job switching off to it. He moved his hands very quickly.
With 10 seconds to go, I think at this point you just got to start causing damage. Entertaining round by both guys. I think Davis had control superiorly with that distance control with his long jab and footwork.
3 3-minute rounds in this title fight. If you're in Davis's corner, I think you tell him keep that distance, keep that range, work that smooth striking. Whereas with Hall, he's got to bridge that gap. As soon as he closed in, like you said he needed to do, he was able to have success and put the fight where he wanted it.
Right, Hall shot for that single leg, and he had a really good job, but it was towards the end of the round. I think if you can time when Davis picks up his leg, because you have to set that leg back down, and I think that would be a good time for him to shoot that takedown and really drive it to the fence.
So easy for us to say. I'm undefeated from behind the mic.
It's so much easier to talk about it outside the cage.
You know what? I was.
Both fighters had a conversation with the corners. They should come in with a different game. Davis, faking the uppercuts and keeping, again, eye level, which is really good fighting a wrestler.
You made an interesting statement earlier. No matter how tall you are, if you crouch down to be level with your opponent in a more athletic stance, your jab doesn't change its length. You still have the advantage.
Right, but then your hips are back and you're more readily to sprawl. Hall's doing a better job of committing to this offense, but I think he needs to take the center of the cage back. Davis back to controlling this lead hand and coming high with the kicks, leg kicks, and really showing a full spectrum of striking.
Yeah, it seems like Hall's closed in a little bit, but so far all it's doing is letting him be on the receiving end of some more strikes, it seems, especially the leg kicks.
The beautiful thing of Davis is not overcommitting to any strike, right? He's not really forcing anything. He's just throwing things out there, and then Hall's kind of just running into it. There you go. Hall now. Oh, beautiful double leg off the fence.
That was really a well-done takedown.
Now he has more time to work in this position, but Hall needs to free up these hands and cause some damage. But Davis is already working back to the fence and back to his feet.
Yeah, Hall has about half the round to work, whereas he didn't have that much time when he secured the takedown in round number 1.
I mean, the takedown was beautiful, but you got to do something with it. I mean, the fight is now on the ground, and you got to continue fighting.
Hall got a good knee to the body in, but Davis felt him release the pressure a little bit, use that as a chance to come back to standing.
He's hitting him with a combination of foot strikes, which I've never had anyone do to me, so I don't know how bad that hurts. Oh, and Davis opening up with a combination.
Nice job using really long strikes by Davis, going all the way across the cage, but closed in a little bit too close and allows his opponent to grab hold of head control here.
I think Hall needs to break him down to a hip, pulling away from the cage.
Yeah, Davis, good job getting one knee up. That's, obviously the first step in getting back to your feet. And there he goes, gets the other foot underneath him, back to standing we go. But Hall, good job with the series of strikes.
Right, but I think Davis did a good job of controlling that hand where it really didn't really cause a whole lot of damage. I mean, he's pinned up against the fence, but the combination that he was hitting with, I think Davis is seeing around with just damage alone.
Just a couple seconds left.
Beautiful job by both guys.
Much closer round.
Now, with what you've seen Hall was successful with, what do you think he needs to do in addition to that in the third round to win this fight?
More immediacy to get that takedown. I mean, it was faster in that round than it was in the previous round, but still the round was half over before he got it to the ground. I think he needs to come across the cage and try to do that within his first 1 or 2 exchanges.
Right. I think Davis is doing a really good job of controlling that distance, and man, it's really impressive being a striker, but knowing how to stay in a good position at all times. And man, even if he does get taken down, he's up on his knees, working his way back up, and man, he's making it very hard for Hall to get something going.
Yeah, very nice job of returning to his feet every time that he's been taken down.
As of now, I have Davis ahead by 2 rounds, and Hall really needs to look for this finish.
I'm in agreement with that. I think his corner needs to be in his ear, giving him some urgency. Seconds out. Third and final round in our main event, 3-round title fight. Sparta 97. Davis black and orange, Hall black, red and white.
Davis going back to what's been successful, which is staying in good position and not overcommitting to any one strike, except for that great
Except
shot.
for that one. That had a lot on it, darn it.
Well, you don't really need to commit to those. You just got to land it.
Hall feeling the pain of that one. Oh, goodness. Unintentional. It was just a matter of when the strike was thrown versus the footwork.
I hope there's no groin shots that are intentional. I think we're both men in there, and we don't ever want to see anyone get hit by it.
Agreed. And Hall kind of signaling to the referee he's going to be able to continue, but give me a second.
Shake him out of your belly button right now. And fight back on.
Good sportsmanship from Davis, and hey, sorry about that, but I'm still going to punch you in the face.
Davis needs to get back to keeping that range. I think he's kind of getting a little too close, to Hall right now. Hall needs to blitz forward. He needs to commit to forward movement, both either a combination or a takedown.
Part of the reason that's so difficult for Hall is Davis is doing a good job of keeping this fight occurring in the center of the cage.
And there you go.
However, just as I say that,
but as of now, it's a close fight. You can have it a 1-1 right now. So Davis needs to create a frame and work his back up to his feet.
and he's done a good job of being able to get back to standing, but that was always with his back against the cage. So let's see what he's able to do here when he's out in space and doesn't have that cage to brace against to come to standing.
Hall being such a strong wrestler, I feel like it would work in Davis' advantage to play jiu-jitsu, like pull half guard, pull full guard, and create space that way. But we have a break in action right now.
Not sure what happened, but I see pretty immediately Hall kind of saying, oh, sorry about that. Oh, I think it might have been an accidental headbutt. And it looks like Davis pointing at his eye like he took a headbutt in the eye, maybe.
It might have been a finger in the eye. I'm not quite
Ah,
sure.
it could have been a poke, you're right.
Oscar Martinez is really good at seeing the rules in a cage fight. So whatever Oscar saw, I'm sure it's correct.
Here we go. Fight!
All right, because of the incident, they're going to take that position away from Hall and right back to the feet.
Hall signaling there was no malicious intent, being apologetic for it. So, like we said, good sportsmanship. No intentional infractions.
I mean, that's a big mistake. I mean, Hall had such a dominant position in a very vital round, and he had it taken away from him. Davis doing a really good job of staying in good position in that range. I'd like to see Davis start throwing things down the middle, like either a knee up the center or a push kick or something, a very linear attack.
Davis tried to drop down in order to meet the takedown, but just got really bowled over by Hall. Hall is so committed to the takedown.
Right. I think with 40 seconds left in the round, Davis needs to start threatening submissions. As of now, you can have it 1-1, going to the third. And so whoever wins the third round wins this fight. It's really hard to win a fight off your back.
Oscar Martinez calling for action. 10-second clacker sounded. Our timer is showing different, but regardless, there we go. And the fight looks like the judges are going to tell us who goes home with the title.
That's a super close fight. I mean, very impressive action by both fighters.
In the evening with a little bit of a cliffhanger here.
I mean, it's up in the air at this point.
Congratulations and handshakes all around the cage. Shows how many people put in how much work in order to get these two guys into the cage here tonight to perform at this level for us.
I mean, you got top-notch team elevations. Such talented teams. So all respect, all the talent, and can't wait to see which gym comes out with the victory.
Somebody gets another title to the wall. Justin J. Train Gonzalez in the corner for Mr. Hall, a Bellator fighter.
Vinny Lopez and Cody Donovan in the corner of Davis. So a lot of prestige in this cage right
A
now.
lot of action and talent in there, no doubt.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after a 3-round battle, we go to the judges' scorecards. Give these fighters a round of applause for laying it on the line. Judge Abeda scores this bout 29-28 Davis. Judge Coca scores this bout 29-28 Hall. Judge Sanchez scores this bout 29-28 in favor of your winner by split decision and new flyweight champion, Quan, the Golden Child Hall!
Congratulations to Mr. Hall and the top-notch team. Takes home the vacant title. That'll make you begin.
Get excited, Sparta! Your new champion. Yeah, get in there. Get in there. Let's take a couple questions for you. So you highlighted your wrestling technique. Was that the game plan coming in?
My game plan was to work a lot of different things. You know, I'm growing as a fighter. Every night I come out here, I kind of wanted to show that, but he was pretty good at striking. He was long. He was able to keep me at bay, so I had to do what I got to do to win. You know, my best skill is probably winning, to be honest.
That's exciting. I like to
Good
hear
skill
that
to
too.
have.
It looked like it's really easy for you to follow that laid back into you. Do you train that?
It's instinct. You know, it's like a dog. You throw a stick, he's gonna go get it. I guess you can call me a dog because I'm gonna go get it. Either way.
Dude, that is awesome. I'm so excited for you. Who do you want to thank for this fight?
First, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Obviously, my family, support, and definitely got to represent G-Town, baby.
Get excited. What an accomplishment. And this is your second one, correct?
Oh, yeah. Second one, I mean, I might get a little greedy and look for 3, so watch out.
The sky's the limit for this man. Congratulations. I'm going to throw it back to Stewie.